I got you. Let it vibe real quick. Look. The city eyes. It's time to vote God. My God, a real nigga. Cause he want no flaw. Posted on the corner like a watchdog. Family secure, got that shotty in the closet by the mob ball. Fuck what they heard, but tell them it's all true. Be cautious, that foundation falls till you fall through. They gon' fall. Look, I keep this shit 50 times two. Ain't no more heart in this game, I'm John Q. Colder than the avalanche, way above average. Fierce taste sweet, told him make me an apple crisp. Left us in the valley full of bones, this where hope found. Child become a man, dark sands get broke down. Riding through Evanston with Mark Quad, telling me how them crackers turn his childhood to a ghost town. Focus out, nigga, I lay that game down. I feel his pain, cause nothing is the same now. Let my light shine like heaven through a rain cloud. Glock have a fit like my child, no tangent. Try to warn them niggas, we bear arms like tarantulas. Them other niggas rap, I make anthems. I really see prophets under this banner. Make my enemies bow down on camera. Told my design I wanted black and white like a panda. I'm better than that nigga that sunk dirty to handle. Look, I move like a Brazilian, precious cargo. Spirit Asian, but I got a new semi-auto. Wave that bitch around like where's Waldo. Sleep if they won't, I cut through they Z's like I'm Zorro. Pay me for his name, so I gotta keep that steel clutch. Trust me, I'm not what you think. I squeeze till it click like Dorothy when the heels touch. The world got me dumb, I don't feel much. Ride around with Yahanna, just left the state bridge. Looking for a bitch better than Baby's kid. Remember I dropped Quiet Storm, I've been gone ever since. Still in the field, fuck them niggas on the fence, yeah.
It's rolling on it. What is it?
All right, clap it up, everybody. Let's get the Most High hand, man. You understand? We're bringing in the Most High Holy Day. You understand? The Feast of PURIM. Salaki. And we having this feast in the midst of our oppressor going right smack dab into the middle of the Third World War, man. You understand? So, like, I actually been speaking it since 1969. You understand? And if you still on the fence side, you should run into the ISUPK.
Damn right.
You understand? Before the bombs is dropping in your neighborhood. You understand? Because the time is coming short, man. You understand? So we're gonna get right into it.
Right.
You understand? And explain, and show you in the Bible why we are celebrating this day. Right. You understand? Why we are celebrating this day. You understand? Everything that you see us do in the ISUPK is in the Bible. You understand? Nothing that we do is something that's made up out of our mind or someone else's mind. These aren't the traditions of men that we follow in the UPK. You understand? Like you do in your Christian church. In your Christian church, you celebrate Thanksgiving, you understand, Easter, the 4th of July, and none of those things are in the Bible. You understand? But yet, the Christians like to look at us like we are evil and wicked because we choose to follow the Lord. You understand? Well, listen, how can you know what I'm saying? It's like they look at what's righteous and call it evil. You understand? And then look at what's evil and call it good. Mm-hmm. You understand? And so, like the Lord said, you know what I mean? Like the world has turned things upside down. You understand? The scriptures say, woe to him who calleth evil good. You understand? So I want you to get that for me. We're going to the book of Esther, chapter 9, and we're going to start at verse 28.
Right.
You understand? Shalom, Mark. Shalom, Mark. All right, you can read that when you got it up.
And that these days should be remembered and kept throughout every generation.
Throughout what?
Every generation.
You understand? So these days shall be kept and remembered throughout every generation. You understand? Meaning that your children's children should keep this feast. You understand? Just like our great grandfathers kept this feast. You understand? In remembrance of what the Lord did for us. You understand? In hopes that the Lord will do it again. In hopes that the Lord about to do it right now.
That's right.
You understand? Read on.
Every generation, every family, every province, and every city.
You understand? Every family, every province, and every city. You understand? Meaning the entire nation of Israel. All the 12 tribes, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You understand? The what? You understand? All throughout our nation and our kingdom should we keep this peace. You understand? Read on.
And that these days of Purim should not fail from among the Jews.
And so, like, if I could. And here's the thing: don't be ashamed to do what the Lord say to do. Don't ever be ashamed to celebrate the Feast of Purim. You should be thankful and blessed to actually know about the Feast of Purim and able to keep it. You understand? Because the white man, he ain't ashamed of the 4th of July. He's not ashamed to celebrate his kingdom. You understand? So come into the ISUPK and celebrate your kingdom. Right. Celebrate what the Lord did for the one people on this earth that the world hates. And that's you, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Read on.
And in the days of Purim should not fail from among the Jews.
In the days of Purim should not fail from among the Jews. You understand? And guess what? It fails in that Christian church. You understand? They don't care nothing about this Bible. You understand? You tell a Christian, oh, I'm celebrating the Feast of Purim. They don't even know what the hell you talking about. You understand? Because they don't even read or understand the Bible. You understand? They don't know. The only thing they know about the Bible is John 3:16. You understand? And in that one scripture, let he without sin cast the first stone. That's all they know. They quote, some Christians quote things that ain't even in the Bible. You understand? Read on.
Fell from among the Jews, nor the memorial of them perish from their seed.
Read it again.
Nor the memorial of them perish from their seed.
You understand? Nor the memorial of them perish from their seed. You understand? So we got to hold this thing as a memorial. We have to remember these things. These are the righteous acts that we practice. You understand? Because one day we're going to have a kingdom of our own. And this is like a rehearsal. This is like a dress rehearsal. Just like any marriage. You understand? In the Christian church, they have this marriage. Before the marriage, they have the dress rehearsal. They have the rehearsal and things like that. And what we're doing is we're having those rehearsals because there's eventually going to be an actual marriage where we're going to have to carry out the things that we've done in practice. You understand? And so everything that we're doing now, one day we're going to be in our own land and able to do it without the oppressor on our neck. You understand? Read on.
Okay. That's 28. We'll take it through. That's how the story begins.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna go back to the beginning of Esther chapter 9. You understand? We're gonna go into. So, like, you want to take over? Okay. All right. So we're gonna start at the beginning of chapter 9, and we're gonna go into what led up to the declaration of the feast of the Feast of Purim. Go ahead.
Now in the 12th month, we'll have Esther chapter 9. Now in the 12th month, that is the month Adar, and the 13th day of the same, when the king's commandment and his decree drew near to be put in execution. In the day that the enemies of the Jews hoped to have power over them.
So it says in the day that they hoped to have power over them. You understand? Read on.
though it was turned to the contrary.
Read that again.
Though it was turned to the contrary.
Much like any other time, we were under the oppression of another nation.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? They sought to keep their rule over us.
Mm-hmm.
Like the white man. You think the white man wants to give up rulership over black people? You understand? If you first of all, they still have rulership over us. You understand? They say we free, but we ain't free. You understand? We not free. We not free like they free. You understand? They free enough to go and they can graduate high school and go buy a house, no money down. You understand? Black people, we can't even get into college without financial aid. You understand? Go ahead.
Turn to the contrary, that the Jews had ruled over them that hated them.
Read that again.
Lock it. The Jews hoped to have power over them, though it was turned to the contrary.
So the other nations at one point in time had rule over us. And just like right now, our oppressor, he seeks to continue to have rule over us. Read on.
Hope to have power over them.
Go ahead.
Though it was turned to the contrary.
Though it was turned to the contrary. And that's what's happening with the Third World War. What you're seeing right now is all the things where the Lord is turning that oppression to the contrary. You understand? He's turning things over. You understand? And so there's a new kingdom that's going to be born into this earth. And just like any life, any new life that comes, there's pain, there's blood, there's violence. You understand? And so when a woman gives birth, there's pain, there's labor, there's birth pains, there's contractions, there's screaming, there's yelling, there's squeezing. You understand? Pushing, shoving, pulling. You understand? All of the above. You understand? And people are afraid. You understand? There's great fear during the birth of a child. You understand? Anxiety, all of these different emotions, and all this blood and pain. You understand? That's going to give birth to something beautiful on this earth. That's the kingdom of heaven. You understand? So all this war that's happening, it's a must that it happen. It is an absolute must. You understand? Read on.
That the Jews had ruled over them that hated them.
And guess what? The world hates black people. The world hates Hispanics. You understand? Here's how you know America hates black people. Does anybody know why Donald Trump sent troops in Iran? Who can tell me why? Go ahead.
Black people in the military, they get killed.
Repeat.
Black people in the military and our people can get killed.
I mean, that's true, but not necessarily the reason why Donald Trump started this war with Iran. Who knows? Who can tell me why Donald Trump started this war with Iran? Go ahead.
Is it because he wants to be president again or slow it down or something like that?
No, it's not that deep. Go ahead, Labai.
He want to steal the oil from them so they can be the ultimate power over the earth.
That's not what he said. Go ahead. Come on.
Is it because of money?
No. I'm going to just go ahead and say it for time's sake. The reason why America went into that war, Donald Trump, in Iran, they were protesting a lot of the things going on in Iran. And during these protests, the Iranian government was unaliving protesters. And so Donald Trump told them if they continue to unalive protesters, we're coming in there to take that country on. And we're going to deliver those people. So America cares more about Iranians killing Iranians, or Iranian government killing Iranian protesters. Meanwhile, they're killing blacks and Hispanics right here in America. You understand? They're snatching Hispanic children out of school without their parents' knowledge. You know, it's like, you gonna take it over otherwise? Okay. You want that chair? No. You take that chair. You get that chair. Take that. You want this chair? Right? No, you gotta take it. You good? Okay. So go ahead.
I was going to ask where we at.
What was that?
Where were we at?
What verse are we at?
Verse,
Verse 1 still, right?
yes, yes.
Esther chapter 9, verse 1. You understand? So Donald Trump started a war with Iran because of what happened to a small number of Iranian people. You understand? A very small number. It ain't like millions of Iranians got killed by the government. A small number. You understand? Even in Israel and Israel and Palestine, right? You got the whole world protesting for the Palestinians. You understand? But who's protesting for the Hispanics?
Right.
Who's going to war for the Hispanic people? Who's going to war for Mexico, for the Mexicans, for the Guatemalans, for the people, for the children that's been here their entire lives? They got pulled out of school and haven't even been heard from since. You understand? Who's going to war for them? Nobody. Iran ain't going to war for them. Pakistan ain't going to war for them. You understand? Germany ain't going to war for them. Russia ain't going to war for them. Nobody. You understand? Which is why the Lord has to step in. Which is why we have to turn back to the Lord. Because nobody's coming to save us except the Lord. You understand? And thankfully, because to the Most High, we have the ISUPK. Because had it not been for the ISUPK, we'd be absolutely demolished in America. We would be done. You understand? Read on.
Verse 2. The Jews gathered themselves together in their cities throughout all the provinces of King Ashurus to lay hand on such as sought their hurt, and no man could withstand them, for the fear of them fell upon all people.
You understand? That right there is what our oppressors never want to see. They never want to see blacks and Hispanics come together. They do not want to see that. Because the day that happens, it's over with. You understand? It's done. We can't divide and conquer no more. When they see Native Americans standing next to the Mexican, standing next to the black man, then they gonna know the jig is up. Go ahead, Op.
I'm just going to piggyback on what you said. Like, you know, it's true that they know if we band together, that we gonna be unstoppable. Ain't no more room for them. It's so true that you can see them deploying the ICE agents, the border patrol. You can see them doing all the deportation. You can see them federalizing all the law enforcement just to keep us in check while this war going on.
Right.
You understand?
Mm-hmm. Right. And best believe they about to run a major campaign in the black community to get you to sign up for that army.
Right.
You understand?
Yeah.
They gonna be like, son, join the military, get you a Hellcat. You understand? But listen, man, I'm gonna tell you something. You might join that military, but you are not gonna see that Hellcat. You understand? Because if you join Esau, if you are dumb enough to join Esau's military in this last world's war, I'm telling you right here, right now, you're not gonna make it home from that war. You understand? You are going to, ain't nobody even gonna bury you.
Right.
You understand? You are not gonna make it back from this war.
Mm.
You understand? Read on.
Oh, God, sir. To lay hand on such as sought their hurt, and no man could withstand them, for all the fear of them fell upon all people. Verse 3. And all the rulers of the provinces, and the lieutenants, and the deputies, and the officers of the kings helped the Jews, because the fear of Mordecai fell upon them.
Go ahead.
For Mordecai was great in the king's house, and his fame went out throughout all provinces. For this man Mordecai waxed greater and greater.
Go ahead.
Thus the Jews smote all the enemies with the stroke of the sword, and slaughter and destruction, and did what they would unto those that hated them.
You understand? So the Jews, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, just like the Feast of Dedication. You understand? We rose up against our enemies. You understand? And listen, man, blacks and Hispanics, when they come together, they are a force. Who fills up majority of the military today? It's blacks and Hispanics.
Yeah, right.
You understand? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You know, one of the first special forces was Native Americans. Was it Apache soldiers? Go ahead and come
I know
on.
they call them wind talk.
The wind talkers. Those are like your first special forces. You understand? We're talking about listen. This how bad Israel is. Native Americans, right? What weapon of choice did they? What are they known? What weapon are they known for using? Go ahead.
The bow and arrow.
The bow and arrow, right? Now, what weapon did they come up against with Esau? Go ahead.
Right.
The rifle. You understand? So Esau going to war against Gad with rifles, and Gad got bows and arrows. You understand? And Gad was a force to be reckoned with, and won many battles against Esau during the taking of this land. You understand? Don't get it twisted. It ain't like they just came with superior firepower. It wasn't superior firepower that won them the America. What won them America was chemical warfare, biological warfare. You understand? Because they infected our people with smallpox. You understand? And it killed hundreds of millions of Native Americans. You understand? What the white man has done on this earth, he deserves for every single one of them pink bastards to get deep fried in this third world war. You understand? They do, you know what I mean? Right. They deserve what's happening to them. They deserve what's going to happen to them. They absolutely deserve it. And here's the thing that bothers me so much about these devils is they are so arrogant that they think that they're about to go in and win this war. They think they about to take over the whole world now. You understand? Esau actually thinks that he's about to take over the Middle East, get power over all the oil in Venezuela, the oil in Iran, you understand, and just rule the earth and subdue the earth. That's what he thinks he's gonna do. You understand? That's what Donald Trump think he about to do.
Right.
Donald Trump think he's so big and bad. He think he's just the biggest bully in the yard. Well, listen, man. What the bully gonna do when he catch the flu? You understand? The Lord can send a flu. He can send a flu that'll kill people. You understand? He already sent COVID-19 throughout the earth, ripping and running throughout the earth, shut the whole world economy down. You understand? Now they got new STDs coming out. You understand? What they got a new gonorrhea. They got something sexual transmitted ringworm. Jeez. Like they got it's like a whole new list of STDs coming out now. Like a whole like anything from the past that ain't even nothing to worry about. Now they got new stuff. You know what I'm saying? With body parts falling off. They got flesh-eating bacteria. Go ahead,
Like, so, these new diseases that's coming out, it's so foul. Like you don't even hear about HIV no more.
Right. You understand? Because that's the least of their worries now. You understand? Go ahead.
They made HIV look like it's a happy thing to have. They be having the commercial. They in the commercial smiling, holding hands. Right. Damn, if you got HIV. They happy. Shooting basketball and at the carnival,
at the park. You understand? Making it seem like it ain't nothing. When you catch a disease like that, it's a life-changing thing. You understand? And so the Lord can shut this whole kingdom down with a common cold, with a virus, with a bacteria. You understand? Read on.
Thus the Jews smote all their enemies.
He did what?
Smote all their enemies.
Smote some of their enemies.
All their enemies.
Listen, man. I'm telling you, this story right here show you that Israel, boy, they some bad mama jumps. We some bad mama jumps. We are the baddest people on the planet when it comes to everything. When it comes to matters of warfare, we the baddest. there's a term called guerrilla warfare. Anybody ever heard of that?
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Guerrilla warfare is a modern military tactic. You understand? In which you flank your opponent, your enemy, and attack from different angles. You understand? Where you shoot and move, shoot and move. You never stand in one spot and fire a weapon and progress forward. You move from different positions and close in on your enemy. That military tactic came from the North American Indians. You understand? The battles that the white man fought against the North American Indians shaped what America calls the greatest military in the history of mankind.
Right.
You understand? Well, guess what? Everything that so-called great military learned, they learned from fighting the North American Indians. You understand? And here's the thing: I found the book and lost it again. But there's this book called A Brutal Reckoning. You understand? And everybody in South Carolina should read this book because it has a lot of history about famous white men from South Carolina. A lot of history about what happened in the South with the North American Indians. But a lot of people think that Esau just demolished the North American Indians because they had rifles. You understand? But like I said, a lot of our soldiers, our warriors, were fighting Esau with 107-degree fevers. You understand? A lot of us had smallpox, had diseases, where you know what I mean, and we still had the strength to get up and actually still put on a fight against our oppressors. You understand? That goes to show you how mighty those men were. You understand? And so if it wasn't for the diseases that our oppressors spread throughout the North American Indians, who knows? You know what I mean? This might be, we will be living in Cherokee. This land would be called Cherokee. It wouldn't even be called South Carolina. You understand? Who knows? We might be in the kingdom of heaven right now if it wasn't for what Esau did. You understand? Read on.
The Jews smote all their enemies with the stroke of the sword and slaughter and destruction, and did what they would unto those that hated them.
Go ahead.
And in Shushan, in the palace, the Jews slew and destroyed 500 men. And in Parshah, Datha, and Dalphon, and Asapha, and Poratha, and Adaliah, and Aradah, and Aridatha, and Parmashta, and Asriah, and Aridah, and Vesatha, the 10 sons of Haman, the son of the Hamethadah, the enemy of the Jews, slew they.
Now Haman was an Edomite. You understand? He was a so-called white man.
That's right.
And he conspired against Mordecai, conspired against the Jews. You understand? He tried to jam us up. You understand? The white man has always been the devil, the Bible speaks.
Right.
This ain't no new thing. He didn't start being a devil when the ISUPK started teaching. No, he been the devil. He been the devil since he came out and Jacob grabbed him by his foot. You understand? He was born the devil. The scriptures say the wicked are estranged from the womb. You understand? Go ahead.
If I could.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Somebody.
Oh, you two out, so you go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say Haman. His people were the Agags from the Agagites that Saul should have slew back. He should have slew all of them. Remember in the Bible, but this one survived, Haman, and that's where this came from. All he had to do was do what the Lord said. He wouldn't have had probably this killing going on. These that they threatened to kill the Jews, but Saul didn't do it.
Matter of fact, if Saul did that, it wouldn't be no white man living in Israel calling himself a Jew today.
That's
Right.
You understand? Go ahead.
The Bible even says before Esau and Jacob was born, Esau was the devil.
Then the devil was a murderer from the beginning. You understand? Go ahead.
And I was just gonna say, you know, and let that story with Saul be a learning lesson, man, on why you should obey the Lord, man. Like we're talking about thousands of years ago when one of our forefathers didn't follow out of order, and look at the consequences of that today.
That's right.
Today we got small hats, you know, doing all type of diabolical acts. You know what I'm saying? Like it's some stuff me and that boy was talking about. I discussed with that I heard about that Epstein Island. That was truly horrendous, man. That was just horrible, man. And it's just more proof to show you like something that might have seemed simple to solve caused a long line of problems towards Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Right, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Go ahead and read on.
The 10 sons of Haman, sons of Hamathadah, the enemy of the Jews, slew they. But on the spoil laid they not their hand. On that day, the number of those that were slain in Shushan palace was brought before the king. Verse 12. And the king said unto Esther, the queen, the Jews have slain and destroyed 500 men in Shushan the palace, and 10 sons of Haman. What have they done in the rest of the king's provinces? Now, what is thy petition? And it shall be granted thee. Or what is thy request further? And it shall be done. And verse 13, then said Esther, if it please the king, let it be granted to the Jews which are in Shushan to do tomorrow according to this day's decree. And let Haman's 10 sons be hanged upon the gallows.
Now hold that for a second, because I want to say something about Esther.
Damn.
You understand? I'm gonna speak to her. That, excuse my language, but that is a bad bitch.
Damn
right there.
Damn
You understand? Give Esther a hand. You understand? Because let me tell you something about Esther. And I want you to pay close attention to how she spoke to the king. How she replied to the king. You understand? Because Esther is written in the Bible, not because she was a loudmouth demon. You understand? She is written in the Bible because just her sheer femininity was able to sway the king to deliver the 12 tribes of Israel.
Right.
You understand? So read that again.
Verse 13.
Matter of fact, start one verse above.
Verse 12.
Matter of fact, where it says, what have they done? In verse 12.
Okay.
Go ahead, Alvin.
Okay, and I was just gonna say, you notice you've never seen a female Christian pastor ever go to the story of Esther and read about Esther. You never seen them talk about how this sister did something that was great without having to run her mouth and be horrible. Like Natsaka said, she used her feminine side to swindle this man into doing what she asked. You know what I'm saying? Like, and sisters got to understand something. The most powerful thing that you have is being feminine. Like that right there takes nations to war. You know, men go to war about women being feminine. And there's nothing more better than a righteous, feminine woman. You know what I'm saying? If you find that here in the UPK, and it is a glorious thing to see. We get to see sisters who have that same spirit of Esther, who would get their life for their brothers, who would get their life for their sisters, for the children. And then you look at these sisters in the world who feel like you gotta take them God knows where to get, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you can't take me to the Cheesecake Factory. You gotta take me to what's some of the nice fancy places they got out here now? Rude Chris and what's the other place? Mike Aaron's, something. Rick Owens, Rick Aaron's. Like you talking about $300-$400 for a date for a woman who will cuss you out and sleep with the next man.
Man, listen. So like, here's the thing. Like, this is what I wish women would just understand, right? You have the power to make a man do absolutely whatever you want him to do.
Right.
You are born with that power. You understand? But you know what? You don't get it by challenging him. That is not how you get a man to do what you want him to do. Right. Because here's the thing about when you challenge a man. Esther never at no point challenged the king. Ever. She submitted so well that the king ended up coming to her, asking her, what should I do? Make your request, and it shall be granted unto thee. You understand? Because here's the thing, like if you remember back, was you know how they say chivalry is dead? Well, listen, they kind of got a point. And if chivalry is dead, women kill it. Right? So here's the thing. I remember seeing when I was younger videos and movies about, and picture this scene in your head. Everybody's seen it, so everybody knows what I'm talking about. But they'd be in a city somewhere, walking across the street, and you see this woman walking, and she's about to cross the street, but there's a big puddle in the middle of the road. And you will see a man take his jacket off and lay it on the puddle so that woman doesn't have to step foot in this water.
Right.
You understand? But here's the thing. Back then, a man could do that and not feel like a total a-hole or simp because he did that for a lady who deserves that type of respect. Because when you are a lady, when you are feminine, a man wants to pave an entire road for you just to have a comfortable ride. You understand? But when you're a monster, he don't care if you fall off a cliff. He gonna thank the Lord. You understand? He gonna thank God that he ain't got to pay child support no more. You understand? So, but the thing is that when you embrace that femininity, you understand? When you embrace that, then a man will naturally protect and defend that. You understand? Because here's the thing, men are very territorial. You understand? Now, with being territorial, what does that mean? You understand? Meaning, if this is my property, this 1 acre of land is my property, and I'm territorial, meaning I'm going to fight and defend this property with my life because I'm territorial. I protect my territory. You understand? So I protect my property. So as a woman, if you identify yourself as a man's property, then a man is going to treat you like his property. You understand? And a man, anybody knows a man, we don't mistreat our property. You understand? We take care of our property. We wash our cars, we change our oil, we change our tires. You understand? We cut our grass. You understand? We fix our toilets. We fix our shower heads, our sinks, our plumbing, electric. You understand? But here's the thing. If you rent an Airbnb, do you give a damn about the garbage disposal not working? I'm not even gonna call the plumber. You understand? If I'm in a rental car and it won't start, then give me a new car. I'm not taking it to the shop. I need a new car. I need to get rid of this one and get another one. And ask who it's somebody else's problem to fix now. It ain't mine because I'm just renting it because it's not my property. You understand? That's the thought of a man. So Esther was raised to understand that.
Right.
You understand? Esther was raised to understand that her femininity is her power. I've never met a truly feminine woman that was depressed. You understand? A woman who completely, absolutely embraced her femininity. I've never met one that was depressed, that had problems in her life all the time. Never seen it. You understand? And 9 times out of 10, when you see a truly feminine woman, she married. You understand? Somewhere cooped up, tucked away, and taken well care of.
Right.
Because that is a thing that is valuable to a man. Not how smart you are, not how elegant you speak, not how many degrees you got, not how much money you make. It's about how feminine you can be. You understand? And Esther is a master class on femininity. You understand? If you feel like you need to learn more about femininity and how to use your femininity to better your life as a woman, Esther is a great example.
Right.
You understand? Read on.
It does, huh?
Matter of fact, read that verse again. What was it? Verse 13?
Verse 13.
I was gonna say one thing.
Go ahead.
What you said that was so heavy. You said a woman like that, man, she has no problem. She's not depressed. And you ever notice how humble sisters are when they sweet like that? Everybody's always nice to them.
Right.
Everybody's always nice to them.
Right.
When they be sweet like that and humble and just, you know what I'm saying? Everybody is nice to them. I've never seen nobody be mean to them. Unless it's just somebody who's just the evil. You know what I mean? But 95% of the time, everybody's nice to them.
Right. Right.
I get it.
If a matter of fact, if I could say something, go ahead. In the scriptures, it says right there, and Esther spake yet again before the king and fell down at his feet and besought him with tears to be put away the mischief of Haman. They want to put away the mischief of Haman.
Let them know what chapter.
That's 8, Esther 8 and where we at? 3. I'm reading.
Go ahead.
Okay. Again before the king and fell down at his feet and besought him in tears to be put away the mischief of Haman the Agagite and the device that he had devised against the Jews.
Right.
So
Haman had power. Haman had influence when it came to the king. You understand? And with the power and influence that Haman had, the femininity of Esther trumped that. You understand? That goes to show you the power of femininity. You know, you had this whole feminist movement trying to, what would it say? Iron woman, hear me roar. You understand? That Iron woman, hear me roar.
I'm a long way, baby.
Listen, man, that feminist movement has destroyed the minds of so many black women. You understand? And here's the thing about feminism. You understand? Feminism was a trick. It was a scam. You understand? It was a chess move. You understand? And it was a chess move played against black women. You ever heard the term "don't let nobody trick you out your spot"? Well, guess what? Your spot was under the protection of the greatest man on the face of the planet. That's a black, Hispanic, and Native American man. You understand? So the white woman tricked you out your spot and had you thinking you don't need a man. You understand? Had you thinking that I can do bad all by myself. Had you sexually liberated. You understand? Now the average woman is selling her box on OnlyFans for $1 a month. You understand? Somebody, you want to say something?
So the Bible says if you want to bind up a strong man, you must first go to his wife. I
don't think it says that exactly.
I'm summarize. I forgot how it goes, but I know it was saying if you want to bind up a strong man, you feel me? It got something to do with his rib.
Okay, so what it says is if you want to enter into a strong man's house, you must first bind the strong man.
Right.
You understand? And so what the feminist movement did was it empowered the woman to bind up the strong man.
Yeah.
You understand? So not only just the feminist movement, but also the welfare movement. The welfare movement came through and they were telling women, oh man, you can get welfare, we'll pay for your food, pay your rent, you get $3 rent and all these other things, government cheese and da 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 da. But you can't have a man at home. You understand? And then they were coming into black neighborhoods. What was it, the 60s? Correct me if I'm wrong, because I think they were coming into black communities like in the 60s. It might have been the 50s. But they were coming into black communities, and what they were doing is they were coming when the husband wasn't home. And talking to the wife in private, saying, listen, you know, your husband, you know, the job, they might be laying off and things like that. You know, you don't want your kids to not be taken care of. So what they did is they used a woman's fear against her. They made the black woman afraid of something that didn't even exist. Well, no companies laying off. You understand? It was the boom of the Industrial Revolution.
Well,
You understand? Go ahead.
like I said, they were just basically the government was telling them that your husband, this housing is only made for you and your child. The man cannot come in there, so that did away with the man. That's how they easily got the man out of the picture. But if I can say this right here with Haman, what the plan that he had devised is brought out here. It says, besought him with tears to put away the mischief of Haman the Agagite and his device that he had devised against the Jews, because he just sought to kill all the Jews.
Right.
And then Esther did this. Then the king held out the golden scepter toward Esther. So Esther arose and stood before the king and said, if it please the king.
If it what?
If it please the king.
If it what?
If it please the king.
Listen how she's speaking to the king. Right. She ain't demanding nothing.
Mm-hmm.
She said, if it please the king. You want to know how to talk to your husband? Free Esther. She did a good goddamn job. Got almost anything she wanted because she knew how to ask. Right. You understand? Read on.
If it please the king, and if I found favor in thy sight, then and the thing seemed right before the king, and I be pleasing in his eyes.
And see, there's so much wisdom in the way she says that. Listen, men, we're gonna turn this into a master class. Men have egos,
Right.
you understand? And as a woman, as you embrace your femininity and your wisdom will show you how to use a man's ego as your superpower. You understand? That's what Esther just did. Read it again.
And and the king held out his golden scepter toward Esther, so Esther arose and stood before the king and said, if it please the king.
If it please the king.
And if I have found favor in his sight.
And if I have found favor in his sight. Listen what she's doing. First of all, she's saying, yeah, you asking me what I want, but I'm only requesting this if it pleases you. You understand? Then she says, what? Go ahead.
And if I found favor in his sight, and the thing seemed right before the king.
She's not assuming her position. She's not assuming that she has all this power over the king or this influence. She's not assuming that. She is humbly saying, if I have found favor in your eyes. And Esther was what? One of the most beautiful women in the kingdom.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? She knows she bad. You think you bad, you ain't got nothing on Esther. You know what I'm saying? Esther got picked by the king. You understand? That was a bad one right there. Super bad.
From the ghetto.
Yeah, it's from the hood. Chocolatey yams. You understand?
And
heavenly yams. You understand? Honey glazed yams. You understand? Read on.
And the thing seemed right before the king, and I be pleasing in his eyes.
And she said, if the thing seemed right before the king, meaning that though she's asking this, she's only asking it if it pleases the king, if she found favor in his sight, and what was the last thing?
And I be pleasing in his eyes.
What's after that?
Let it be written to reverse.
Hold on, select.
And if I and said, if it please the king, and if I have found favor in his sight, and the thing seemed right before the king.
And the thing seemed right before the king. Meaning that she's saying that if you think she's saying, if it pleased the king, if I found favor in your sight, and if you think it's wise. You see what I'm saying? She just ultimate ego stroke. You understand? That's what her femininity just did. This is a major key alert to all the sisters. You understand? Read
and
on.
I be pleasing in his eyes. Let the written to reverse the letters devised by Haman. That's the white.
That's the white man. Now Haman got power. Haman's a man who got power. You know how they say, you know, power is a man's game. This woman playing for power. She just made a power move with her femininity, not arguing with her husband, not trying to usurp authority over her husband. She didn't do none of that. She used her femininity and played and made a power move, one that delivered the children of Israel. Read on.
The letters be devised by Haman, the son of the Hamathadah, the Agagite, which he wrote to destroy the Jews which are in all the king's provinces.
Go ahead.
For how can I endure to see the evil that shall come upon my people?
Go ahead.
Or how can I endure to see the destruction of my kindred?
Read on.
Then the king Ahasuerus said unto Esther, the queen, and Mordecai the Jew, behold, I have given Esther the house of Haman.
Read that again.
I have given Esther the house of Haman.
Read it again.
I have given Esther the house of Haman.
Read on.
And him they have hanged upon the gallows. Slacky. The house of Haman. And him they have hanged upon the gallows because he laid his hands upon the Jews.
So Esther's femininity resulted in the hanging of the man who sought to wipe the Jews off the face of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't do that through arguing. She didn't do that through challenging her husband. She didn't cry like a child because she didn't get her way. You understand? You see all these the TV shows, baddies and all that, like Young Miami talking about she need a man that make $100 million. You understand? Go ahead.
About to say, all Esther did was look good.
Right.
Came in there with the right dress, right perfume, say, if it please the king.
Right.
Am I good looking in your eyes, king? Do this, reverse this, and kill this Edomite. That's what she did.
That's what she did. And who gonna tell her no? Right. Who gonna tell anyone? Who gonna tell a woman no to just lay it out like that?
Just look good.
Man, girl, you can get whatever you like. You know what I'm saying?
She looked good and act right.
Yeah. You understand? And Esther got whatever she liked. And the king said it ain't tricky if you got it. You understand? And that right there, that femininity delivered the 12 tribes of Israel. Delivered the Jews. You understand? Read on.
And that go down to verse 13.
Go ahead.
Finished up. Then said Esther, if it please the king, let it be granted to the Jews, which are Shushan, to do tomorrow according on this day the day's decree, and let Haman's 10 sons be hanged upon the gallows.
Man, that's the wooden plan. And that just lets you know right there that just because you are feminine don't mean you ain't a warrior. You understand? This sister has the mind of a warrior. You understand? Think about what she requested. She ain't asked for no diamond ring. She ain't asked for no Rolls Royce Wraith from the king. You understand? She ain't asked for no horse and buggy. She asked for the enemies of her people to be hung before the people. And she got it. She got it. You understand? And Haman wasn't just nobody. Haman was a trusted advisor of the king. I think he was second in command.
I believe what?
You understand? Haman had power. And that woman, ooh-wee. You understand? I pray you understand. Read on.
And the king commanded it so to be done. And the decree was given to Shushan, and they hanged Haman and his 10 sons.
Get the Most High a hand for that. You understand? Get Esther a hand. You know what I mean? Get black women a hand. Get the sisters in the UPK a hand. Because that's the type of sisters that we're trying to raise in the UPK, man. You understand? Because just as feminine as she was just as vicious. You understand? and she loved her people. You understand? And she used her femininity, and that femininity was the greatest tool that the Lord used in this day to deliver the Jews. You understand? So don't think that being feminine is a weakness. Being feminine and submissive is not a weakness. That is a strength of a woman. And that was the strength of Esther. And you should be encouraged to follow that, because look at what she was able to accomplish with her femininity. You understand? The world got you thinking being feminine is weak. Because here's the thing, the world don't want you to have no power.
Right.
You understand? This whole game in this earth is about power. That is what the whole world is about. It's about power. If you don't have no power, you don't have nothing. And right now, black people, the only power that we have is within ourselves.
Right.
You understand? And right now, that power is null and void because the power structure is turned against one another. Yeah, women want to be men, and men want to be women. You understand? When the Lord didn't establish it like that. You understand? And so it's time for us to turn back to the Lord, turn back to righteousness. Men need to turn back to masculine. We need to be toxic masculine times 1,000. And women need to be that's toxic femininity. If this toxic masculinity, that's toxic femininity. And that's what we need in Israel. You understand? Read on.
And that these days should be remembered and kept throughout every generation.
So we should remember these principles, remember these acts, and remember that femininity, a woman's femininity, delivered the children of Israel.
Right.
You understand? And yeah, we was going to war. We was cracking every head we came across. But no matter how many heads we cracked, it took for Esther to be feminine and to play her position for us to do it.
Right.
You understand? And she didn't whore herself out like a whore. No. You understand? That is not what happened. You understand? She did exactly what the Lord would have her to do. You understand? Read on.
And kept throughout every generation, every family, every province, every city, and that these days of Purim should not fail from among the Jews, nor the memorial of them perish from their seed.
You understand? So we got to remember our fallen. You understand? Remember our fallen, and remember the ones before us.
Right.
You understand? Is that it?
I mean, we're gonna be to the end.
Nah, we can go ahead and end it. Okay. All right. All right, men of Israel, Micah. So, all right, so anybody who hasn't eaten, you understand, you're more than welcome to go ahead and get some food. We got tons of good food left. You understand? So we're gonna give brothers, we're gonna give one courtesy salute. You understand? Amaju Shabbat, Barak. All right, turn to face the sisters. You understand? Men of Israel, Amaju Shabbat, Amaju, Barak. All right, Yaj Matah, dismiss.